federal government over the legality of the judicial panels of inquiry set up to investigate the allegations of police brutality in various states. Speaking with Newsmain today, Adeburuwa faulted the position of the federal government on the outcome of the report of the Lagos State Judicial Panel of Inquiry on restitution for victims of SARS-related abuses and other matters. Commenting on the federal government's stand, the legal expert said a party cannot appropriate and reprobate at the same time, adding that a party who initiated a process and willingly and actively participated in that process cannot turn around after judgment to plead illegality or absence of jurisdiction simply because the outcome is unfavorable, stressing that efforts must be made to strengthen the institutions to make them work. He therefore called on government to build trust in the people in all its dealings and utterances, while the people all await the white paper from the Lagos State government. In a related development, the federal government has advised Nigerians to get vaccinated as new COVID variant Omicron deepens COVID crisis globally. The government made the call through the Nigerian Center for Disease Control, according to a statement signed by the NCDC Director General Ifedayo Adetifa. The body said it was monitoring emerging evidence on the new COVID-19 variant Omicron, which was first recently identified in Southern Africa, adding that the fears about its ability to evade protective immune responses or is being vaccine resistant are only theoretical so far. Report says the new variant is considered highly transmissible and has already triggered a new wave of travel restrictions targeted at countries in Southern Africa. Meanwhile, the federal government may extend the implementation of capital projects components in the 2021 Appropriation Act till next year, following the inability of many ministries and agencies to conclude their procurement process until the last quarter of this year. Reports say heads of ministries, departments, and agencies who appeared before the various Senate Outstanding Committee for their 2021 budget performances blamed their inability to execute the capital projects to the ban placed on procurement process from January to May 31st. Recall that the Minister of Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, had told the Senate Committee on the Federal Roads Maintenance Agency that the federal government issued a circular to delay the implementation of capital components in the 2021 budget till May 31st this year. The development, the Minister of State for Labor and Employment, Festus Keyamo, has said that social media platform Twitter has agreed to all the conditions laid out by the federal government regarding its operation in Nigeria. Keyamo, who is also a member of a committee set up to review the operations of the microblogging platform since its ban in the country, said the committee has made confirmed was attacked yesterday by unknown gunmen. Still on security, unknown gunmen in their numbers yesterday attacked the convoy of Ebonyi lawmaker Chinedu Awo, representing Ohiaku North constituency in the State House of Assembly. Reports say the lawmaker was ambushed by the gunmen to Efim community, his hometown. It was learned that the lawmaker sustained serious bullet injuries while trying to escape being killed by the said unknown gunmen and was rushed to the Alex Ekweme Federal Teaching Hospital, Abakaliki, where he is currently receiving treatment. New development, the Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, has asked the Federal High Court in Abuja to compel President Muhammadu Buhari to ensure the arrest of security operatives involved in the shooting of peaceful NSAS protesters at the Lekki tollgate and police brutality cases. In a suit filed last Friday, SERAP is also asking the court to direct and compel President Muhammadu Buhari to bring to justice anyone sent to justice, and effective remedies for victims and their families amounts to a travesty of justice, as justice delayed is justice denied. On legislative matters, Speaker of the House of Representatives Femi Gbajabiamila has identified youth empowerment among major factors that determine the development of the country. Addressing the Youth Camp Leadership Program which took place at the Citizenship and Leadership Training Center, Share Hills, Jos Plateau State, the speaker said he would continue to pay attention to the development of the Nigerian youth. Speaking on the initiative for the program, Bajabiamila said it was his way of giving back to society in order to have a better tomorrow, noting that he was delighted at the conduct of the participants. Operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency have arrested a businesswoman at the Abuja called Adisa Afusat Olayinka, who lives in Ibafo, Ogun State and hails from Ilorin State, was arrested on Wednesday at the boarding screening area of the airport during an outward clearance of Qatar Airways Flight 1418. She was subsequently taken into custody where she excreted 80 pellets of the illicit drugs between Wednesday and Saturday. Tears broke out on yesterday on the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway after the Julius Berger Nigeria PLC partially shut down Maburo and Werewa, Ogun State ends of the highway. Reports say thousands of travelers moving inward Lagos State and those bound for Ogun State were trapped at the various bottlenecks for several hours. Traffic was at a standstill. Federal government says the road will be reopened after repairs work is completed. In Rivers State, hundreds have reportedly been rendered homeless after an inferno swept through an overcrowded settlement in Port Harcourt. The incident, which occurred over the weekend at the Elechi waterside in the state capital, is said to have been caused by an electrical spark from one of the makeshift buildings in the slum before spreading to other structures. Meanwhile, the Rivers State government says it is investigating the cause of all the incidents, adding that it will seize any property or land upon which an illegally refined petroleum product is found to have been sparked a fire outbreak. Report says this is the fourth fire outbreak to be reported in the state capital in 1 week. The Department of State Services has raised an alarm over plans by terrorists to attack military bases in border towns across the country. The secret agency also put the Nigeria Customs Service on red alert to avert the pending attacks by the insurgents on Ogun border communities and other border towns across the country, noting that the warning is based on intelligence it gathered. In a leaked memo addressed to the Custom Area Controller, Nigeria Customs Service Ogun Area Command, Abeokuta, the DSS advised customs and other security agencies in the country to put countermeasures in place to frustrate the plot by the insurgents. Elsewhere, Cross River State Governor Ben Ayade has asked orthopedic surgeons in the country to devise local solutions to addressing bones and joint problems suffered by patients. Ayade gave the charge while speaking at the 44th Annual General Meeting and Scientific Conference of the Nigerian Orthopedic Association in Calabar. Ayade decried the pains caused by orthopedic treatments and charged the orthopedic surgeons to devise a solution for the trauma. Back here, Akwa Ibom State Governor Udom Emmanuel has charged the management of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation (NNPC) to ensure the success of the ongoing restructuring of the corporation. Governor Emmanuel, who stated this when the management of the NNPC upstream, led by the Group Executive Director Adokiye Tombomieye, visited him at Government House, Uyo maintained that the responsibility of a successful transformation of the corporation to a limited liability company depends on the present crop of leaders at the corporation. The governor expressed the hope that the management of the corporation will not disappoint the expectation of Nigerians by ensuring that the NNPC was transformed to a company that will operate in line with international best practices and in the interest of Nigerians. Governor Emmanuel, who regretted that Akwa Ibom State, with the highest reserve of oil and gas assets in the country, has no presence of federal oil and gas infrastructure in the area, expressed belief that the NNPC will fulfill its promises of establishing a tank farm and other structures in the state, and also reiterated his call for the corporation to relocate some of its operational offices to the state. Speaking earlier, Group Executive Director at NPC Upstream and leader of the delegation, Dokie Tombomieye, had said the NNPC is transiting from a corporation into a limited liability company in line with the Petroleum Industry Act as one of the steps of restructuring the corporation for efficient and effective service delivery to Nigerians. Tombomieye said the team was in the state for a retreat to review the performance of the corporation in the last 3 quarters of the year. Still in Akwa Ibom, following the start of the dry season, the indigents of Ikorok in Abiakpo, Ikoresi, and Ikorepene local government area of Akwa Ibom State have again called on the state government to construct Convent Road and 3 other major roads in the area to revive its economic activities and the local market, which had long been closed down for lack of access road. Speaking with Spectrum Television, the residents of the area lamented that the impact of the dilapidated road have crippled all forms of economic activities in the area, adding that the roads, which have now become forest routes, have attracted all forms of crime in the area. They pleaded for the state government's intervention to help reduce the suffering of the people. To report, the market called Essien Market along Convent Road was operated by residents from 3 major villages, Abiakpo in Ikorekbene, Itak and Ndia villages, both in Ikono local government area, cutting across 2 local government areas. The market has been closed for months because Convent Road, where the market is, can no longer be accessible and has become a forest route for criminals.
Chief Sunday Matthew Ebaniyangudo.
My name is Chief Sunday Akpaniyangudo. I am the Assistant Village Secretary of Abiakpo Ikoresien and the Family Advisor of Ikorokpanodok, where this road is. It is pathetic for us who live here. Along this road is a Sien market, also called Mbiam Market, sold by the people of Abiakpo, Itak and Ndeya. It is sad that there is no road to access that market anymore. The road has become bushy. If we try to use the road to go to Ndeya village, some hoodlums will block and rob us. The people of Ndeya can no longer come here to sell their goods. So we plead with government to come to our aid, because we have tried as a village, but we no longer have the strength to handle it. We have a very serious problem in this village. There was a market along this road, but because of road, we couldn't go to that market again. The market became closed. We need the help of government to construct the road for our women to be able to go to their farms and the market to sell and ease survival. So I plead with government to come to our aid and make the road accessible. The residents of Ikorokpanodok pleaded government's intervention to construct the road and other adjoining areas, including Ikwong Road, Etokowo Road, and Waterworks Road. Africa, Ethiopia has allegedly denied it staged an attack over the weekend along its shared border with Sudan, blaming unrest in the disputed zone on rebels from its war-hit Tigray region. Sudan's military said several soldiers had been killed in an attack by armed groups and militias linked to the Ethiopian military in the fatal expense known as Al-Fashar. Recall, the area has long been a source of tension between Addis Ababa and Khartoum, sparking deadly clashes over the last year. On the foreign scene, Canada has announced that it has detected its first cases of the new Omicron strain of COVID in 2 people who had traveled recently to Nigeria. The government of Ontario confirmed that the 2 cases are in the capital, Ottawa, according to federal and Ontario officials. But patients are in isolation while public health authorities trace their possible contacts. Still to come in the news, Anthony Joshua considers stepping down for Fury Yusuk. Stay with us. Thanks for staying tuned. On our business news, the Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN), in a bid to defend the naira, has injected $2.1 billion into the investors and exporters I&E window. This represents a 238% increase when compared with the $621.1 million injected into the I&E window in the corresponding period of 2020. Financial findings from the CBN's data on monthly intervention in the I&E window shows that the highest amount of $474.65 million was recorded in the April, while the lowest amount of $195.91 million was recorded in June. Report says as a result of the increased CBN intervention, the naira was relatively stable during the 7-month period. The World Health Organization has advised countries to follow the signs rather than impose flights bans in a bid to contain the new Omicron coronavirus variant. Regional Director General Moshidiso Moti said, with the variant now detected in several regions of the world, putting in place travel bans that targets Africa attacks global solidarity. He observed that travel restrictions may play a role in slightly reducing the spread of COVID-19, but place a heavy burden on lives and livelihoods. Moti said if restrictions were implemented, they should be scientifically based, not invasive or intrusive. Still on health, the World Health Organization had advised countries to follow with their resignations and assistance. Regional Director General Moshidiso Moti said, with the variant now detected in several regions of the world, putting in place travel bans that targets Africa attack global solidarity. He observed that travel restrictions may play a role in slightly reducing the spread of COVID-19, but place a heavy burden on lives and livelihood. Moti said if restrictions were implemented, they should be scientifically based, not invasive or intrusive. Still on health, President of African Development Bank Akinwumi Adesina is advocating equitable distribution of COVID-19 vaccines globally. Adesina stated this in a tweet following the travel ban imposed on Southern African countries by the United Kingdom, the United States, the European Union, and some Asian countries as part of an emergency response to the recently discovered COVID-19 strain first detected in South Africa. He reminded world leaders that Africa was not the source of the coronavirus as it was first discovered in Wuhan, China, some 2 years ago. Adesina also said Africa should not be punished for the Omicron COVID-19 variant and other mutations that occur randomly anywhere in the world. And a COVID-19 update, 110 new COVID-19 cases have been confirmed by the Nigeria Center for Disease Control in the last 24 hours. The fresh infections comprise 27 new cases in Imo State, 23 in Katsina, 24 in Rivers State, 11 in Ondo, 9 in Kaduna, 6 each in the FCT and Oyo, 3 in Plateau State, 2 in Oshun, and 1 each in Ekiti, Gombe, and Zamfara State. This puts the total number of confirmed infections in the country at 214,092. 207,554 persons have so far been discharged, while 2,976 have died from the virus. In sports, Anthony Joshua says he would consider stepping aside to let Alexander Usyk fight the unified heavyweight world champion Tyson Fury. Joshua will fight Usyk for a second time next spring after losing his WBA, WBO, IBF, and IBO belt on a unanimous points decision in front of a sell-out crowd at London's Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in September. Joshua is adamant on getting his revenge, having told his promoter Eddie Hearn to thrash out terms with Usyk, admitting that he would be open to step aside if it made sense financially. On our entertainment news, Nigerian singer Ayo Balogun, popularly known as Wizkid, and Temilade Openiyi, also known as Tems, got the crowd buzzing at the O2 Arena in London as they performed their hit song Essence. The O2 Arena, which has a capacity to hold 20,000 persons, was filled up as excited fans sang along during the performance. Reports say the performance took place as part of the activities of Wizkid's concert at the arena last night. And that's all we have for you at this time. Do ensure to follow us on social media and subscribe to our YouTube channel, all of which you can find on our website, SpectrumTv.ng. You've been watching Spectrum News at 4. I am Francis Edet saying enjoy the rest of your day.